Am I recording? Am I recording? Yes, I am. This is external audio with a shotgun microphone and a boom pole. So our plan here is initially to get this equipment out to you so that you can use it. Phase 2 would be more understanding how it works, the finer details, when it's not working, what to do, that kind of situation. Well, let's go over level 1 or phase 1, which is we're just going to incorporate a shotgun microphone and external audio into the recording setup. So these are telescoping boom poles. They connect to the camera using XLR audio. So XLR is X is the ground, left and right are the audio channels. That's how you get stereo. So the ground is in the middle pin, left and right. They are indexed or keyed. So this has a keyway here, and it would rotate until it drops into place, and it's going to lock in like that. Okay. These boom poles are telescoping, which means we have to turn this collar looking downward of the boom pole. We have to turn the collar counterclockwise in order to loosen it, and then that section will extend. Then we need to tighten this looking at it clockwise, tighten it, and that section's locked in. Next section, counterclockwise. They're all loosened now. There we go, counterclockwise. There you go. That. Extend this out, turn it clockwise, looking down on it. That's going to tighten that section up. Next section, and we're getting a little bit stretched out here. This one's tightened already. I go to this one. You can come in closer here. I'm looking at it. I'm going to go counterclockwise. It's loose. That'll allow this to extend out. Then I go clockwise to tighten it. And the last one, if I'm going super boom, counterclockwise all the way out and clockwise to tighten. And now I've got a whole bunch of extension. Okay, so we want to keep in mind the microphone hanging on the end of this is somewhere around $500. So it cannot be dropped. That's not an option. Okay, if you are using this, you're going to treat it as a very expensive piece of equipment that's not yours. I'll draw this back in. Let's talk a little bit about this end. These are shotgun microphones, and that's just a layman's term. They are directionally very sensitive. So sound coming into the end of the microphone here will be picked up, but sound coming from the sides like this will not. So where you point this is where the sound is going to come from, okay? Normally you're going to point it down at your subject, and you're going to use about a 90-degree angle on the boom pole. This fuzzy is just for wind noise typically, or any pops like that, so we can have that on and in place. This head should be tightened on here. If anything feels loose, you should let myself know. And then the last part of this is it can articulate or change angle. We might want to angle it slightly less than 90, an acute angle, something like that. We're going to connect this cord, which actually is like a potato coil cord inside here. It goes into here, potato coils all the way down to the end, and then this is going to get connected into our camera. So I'm going to do this for now. Get to the end of the cord here. XLR, so this would be the male end. You guys say more. Female end. We're going into input 1 here. I want to find, there's usually a little cutout or a flat here, or I can just line up these pins. 3 pins here. There we go. Push in until that locks, and we're in on input 1. As a professional habit, go through the handle strap once and through again. And this is always going to keep your cords from pulling directly on the port if something were to catch on them. So we're good there. We'll turn this on and we'll check our camera settings, see if we're picking up sound. Can you hold on 1 second? I can use you in the video. Okay. So settings on this actually should be correct right now. We should be on channel 1, we want input 1, which is correct. This needs to be down to 48 volt. And what that means is it powers the microphone. Input 2 does not matter right now because we're not taking the second input in, but channel 2, that would be like the left and right stereo, we want that to be on input 1 as well. So both channels, left and right, are coming from here. And actually, I think that shotgun mics are technically a mono source anyway, so that might be confusing. But are we picking up sound? The last thing we would need to do is plug in headphones here, and then we could hear as the camera hears. I'm going to grab those, and then we're going to use Miss Nelson as the subject here. Okay. So I've got sound, which is good, and it sounds distant, which is also good because the receiver is down on that end. So I'm going to carefully swing this thing all the way around the room. Miss Nelson.
Hi.
You're on. So obviously the boom pole operator's job, which is a thing in industry, is to stay out of frame with the microphone, but just directionally be right at her, okay? Hold on. Okay, do you want to actually, Sam, you can move in, I'm recording this, you can move in close to her, just get like a medium or a close shot.
Okay, good. You want me to read it? Usually I listen to the blues. Robert Johnson, mostly. The first time I heard Robert Johnson sing, I knew he understood what it meant. That must have been how my father felt when he heard Jimi Hendrix, where he stood there in the rain at Woodstock. Then on the night I missed my father most, when I lay in bed and cried, with a photograph of him with the National Guard uniform on, I imagined his motorcycle pulling up outside. I knew I was dreaming it all, but I let it be real for a moment.
And see. Okay. Last thing about this is we got a lot of cables and cords to manage here, right? Somebody has to be mindful of all of this, because if anybody steps on this bad, we're tipping over a camera. We just have to be really cautious that we're always tethered to this device, okay? So what I would say is don't extend this until you're ready to use it. Once you're done on location, you're going to collapse it. So counterclockwise for that segment, I'm going to do the bottom segment first. Counterclockwise as I'm looking at it. You got to remember that. Counterclockwise, that'll allow this segment to collapse. Then clockwise, counterclockwise, collapse the segment, clockwise, counterclockwise, counterclockwise. You only need to extend this out, you don't need to fully extend it in some situations. These are all tightened up now. For transport, counterclockwise to loosen, swing this down, clockwise to tighten. It's a little more compact. You can see this light is on right here. It's an indication that it's getting power. If I don't have 48 volt power checked right here, if I switch that up to just microphone, I lose my light and I also lose my audio source. So watch when I switch that on. Bam, I have a powered microphone. Next, I am going to unplug this from the camera. I don't want to be dragging this cord down the hallway. Take my headphones off. Bonus material here. In an AV2 class, we would do cord wrap 101. This is how to properly wrap audio video cords. I'll show you and you can see if you can figure out how to do it. You're going to take the end of the cord, place it in your hand facing towards you. The first loop is a standard over loop, so it's just like this. You go over. The second one, you turn your hand upside down, pinky up, reach inside, about the same distance. You're going to turn the cord and bring your knuckles together. That's an under loop. Next one is an over, then an under. It looks like you got room for one more over. What this does is it allows us to throw this cord out and it comes out uncoiled every time. It's sorcery magic, but it's how it's done in the bids. So if you were a roadie, over, knuckles together and under, over, under. We'll practice that more. Over. There is finally, come in here, as long as we're after it, There's always going to be a Velcro pigtail or curly tail on here, and we can loop around all of these and tighten them up for transport. And now we've got something that is not going to get damaged when we're going down the hall. Okay, so that is boom pole and shotgun mic 101.